Hi everybody, my name's Paul and I'm here to talk about the lyrics of Ron and Russell Mael of the rock band Sparks. I'm focusing on the number one song in Heaven, the 1979 two-part single made in collaboration with Giorgio Moroder, and you'd be forgiven for asking, well, why bother? Pretty much everything you need to know appears to be there in the title itself. It's just about a number one song that comes down from heaven. It's almost a novelty song in that sense, but I'm going to make the case that there are some really clever ideas being played out. And this is like next level songwriting that could only come from Ron and Russell Mael. Now, I'll start by going through the plot of the song. In the first half, you have a performance of the song itself up in heaven. It's a song about itself, which is quite a cool meta idea in itself. And the music reflects the heavenly setting, where it almost sounds like a choir of angels singing. And then, in the second half of the song, the tempo ramps up to impossible speeds. You have this manic arpeggiator going, and here, this represents the song descending onto the earth and spreading round the world. So you have the song like infecting car stereos and TV commercials and becoming this huge smash hit. So it can be argued that it's about the power of music, but also like the crass commercial side of music. So you have this heavenly song, but eventually it ends up just being a part of a TV commercial and almost a background noise. So it's showing how the song can be two things at once, but the power of music always wins through. So here's how the song ends. So despite being reduced to playing in the background of a TV commercial, it's still sung by children in the streets. So right there you have the two sides of pop music. You have the cynical view of it as being cheap and disposable, and you have the uncynical view of it with children taking it into their hearts and it lodging into people's heads. So those two sides are also covered in the title and the whole concept of the song. You have a number one single which by its nature is temporary and disposable, and having it come from heaven, it's divine and eternal. And that kind of sums up what Sparks are doing, because any Sparks fan will tell you that they have these genius songs and really great concepts, but they're always packaged up as simple pop songs, things that people would mistake for novelty songs, as you know, as if it just being funny, when these songs make some, you know, really powerful points. So the idea of a genius using pop music as their medium is just a really funny idea if you apply that to Sparks. And they did something similar in 2020 with a song called Stravinsky's Only Hits, in which the composer leaves the classical world and has he's a one-hit wonder in the pop world. He has a Grammy-winning smash, but then gets really embarrassed about making pop music and goes back to his classical roots. So that's the same concept being played out there. Now, there's another way of looking at it, and for this you need to consider that Sparks they now have a new audience. This was album number 8, I think. It came like a decade into their career, and previously their audience were rock fans. There was the sort of people who pored over lyric sheets and paid attention at rock concerts. And now Sparks were arguably the first band to fully embrace disco music, and they completely sort of left the old version of the band behind. Now, consider that disco music at the time, it wasn't very credible with a lot of people, with rock fans especially. There was the whole disco sucks movement, and it was seen as having bad lyrics and being cheap and disposable, just like the lyrics in part 2 are implying. And obviously this is an unfair characterization of disco, because disco is awesome, and I'm sure Sparks agree with that and aren't criticizing it. But they now had this new audience. So if part 2 of the song is addressing the radio audience, then it's worth looking at part 1 in a different way. So rather than these songs being about heaven and earth, instead look at it as the way all great disco songs are born. They start in a nightclub, and then they go and become hit singles around the world. So if you read the lyrics to part 1 of the song as being set in a nightclub, then it takes on a really different tone. So have a listen.
This is the #1 song written of books by the mightiest man. All of the angels are sheep in the fold of their master. There we follow the master and his plan.
The song starts by telling us that it's written by the mightiest hand, and this doesn't necessarily mean God. The song was after all written by Ron Mayle, and it's a great example of the comic narcissism that you see throughout their music. It then goes on to say all of the angels are sheep in the fold of their master, and this evokes imagery of the dance floor. If you think of this audience as being lost in a trance and being guided by a DJ, then they always follow the master and his plan fits, so it doesn't necessarily have to be set in heaven. Now, if you start to think of these songs as being aimed at different audiences and addressing those audiences within the lyrics themselves, then it gets really interesting, because they've got something else in common, which is really unusual, and that is that both songs make the listener question their own mortality.
This is the #1 song. Why are you hearing it now? Maybe you're closer to here than you imagine. Maybe you're closer to here than you can be.
Alongside the euphoric imagery is a message to the listener. The reason you're hearing this song is because you may be about to die. It's a practical joke being played on the dance floor, and they do a similar thing for the radio audience in part 2.
If you should die before you awake, if you should die while crossing the street, that's all that you'll hear, I guarantee. It's #1 it's #1
This time round it's far less subtle, but it's blink and you'll miss it, moving immediately on to more upbeat territory in the lyrics. This is exploiting the distracted nature of radio and TV audiences.
Now there's a crowd of souls of doubt. Lyrically weak, but the music's bleeding.
Being lyrically weak was one of the many criticisms that was levelled at disco music in the 70s, and by writing what appeared to be a novelty song about a #1 record from heaven, it looked like Sparks weren't doing anything to change that. But if you wind back to the line before it, it says, "As loud as a crowd and as soft as a doubt, Those are the two things that this song can be simultaneously. It can be as loud as a great big party or the radio turned up to 11, or it can be as soft as a doubt. It can be that lingering thought in the head of a dancer on the dance floor who's just heard the angelic voice of Russell Mael tell them that they might be about to die. With the number one song in heaven, Sparks became the first band to make a disco song about death. And this pushed the genre beyond its usual subject matter of love, dancing and heartbreak. It's a hidden in plain sight practical joke played on the new audience that comes with this shift in sound. Now this is a remarkable bit of songwriting, and what's more impressive is that it fits into a larger narrative, both before this song and following it. Coming just 4 months after the release of the Number One in Heaven album was a side project written and produced for a singer called Noel. Is There More to Life Than Dancing is a criminally overlooked album, and it's much in the same vein as Number One in Heaven. Opening song Dancing is Dangerous is set on the floor of a nightclub, and it has a dark twist. So first things first, if that's the first time you've heard that record and you're a Sparks fan or you love Number One in Heaven, then you owe it to yourself to get on YouTube and listen to the whole thing, because it really is a great album. Now, on first listen, it doesn't stray too far from usual disco territory. It's kind of a Sparks remake of Lost in Music by Sister Sledge, but it does have this sinister element to it, as if she's being controlled by the music. And with the chorus it says, "Dancing is dangerous, gently embraces us, then won't let go till the end of our days." And by saying till the end of our days, again, it makes the listener think about their own death. Now, if there's any doubt about this, then this song segues nicely into the next song. And this is the title track, Is There More to Life Than Dancing? And here, Noel says that she's overdone it on the dance floor. And there's a reason why. That's because she hears a voice in the music. So here we have Noel questioning her hedonistic lifestyle choices after hearing a voice cutting through the music while she was on the dance floor. Now that voice could well have been Russell Mael singing, "Maybe you're closer to here than you imagine, maybe you're closer to here than you care to be." And not only that, but she thinks that it must have been a kid outside. And if you think to the end of the Number One song in Heaven, it goes like this. Here Noel mistakes the voice cutting through the music to that of a kid outside, and that's because the kid outside is singing the Number One song in Heaven. the track on which Sparks played a practical joke to which sees a victim. Now let's go to the song that precedes it on the Number One in Heaven album, and that's My Other Voice. These hypnotic words comfortably fit the idea of hiding a dark message inside a pop song, and what follows perfectly describes the casual power that Ron and Russell have over the unsuspecting dancers in the nightclub.
You're so independent, but that's gonna change real soon. With my other voice, I can destroy this room. I'll wrap my voice around you and I'll drag you everywhere. My other voice.
That has to be one of the most sinister verses in all of pop music. You're so independent, but that's gonna change real soon. The whole thing evokes imagery of a kind of domestic violence, but there is another way of looking at it, and that's that the female character is the same one we see later being played by Noelle on the following album. So she's losing her independence and she doesn't seem to know about it. This kind of fits with the first song on the album. The chorus to Dancing is Dangerous says that dancing is dangerous, it gently embraces us, then won't let go till the end of our days. So gently embracing it's a comforting thing, and here he wraps his voice around her before throwing her about the room. So she hears a voice cutting through the music and he uses his voice to manipulate. It's all about the power of words. It's about the power of music. This verse opens with, "You think you're romantic? Well, I'll whisper in your ear." And to most people in a nightclub, you'd expect the music to be about romance. So to whisper in your ear, that's whispering in the ear of the dancer on the dance floor and telling them that the reason they're hearing this song may be because they're about to die. It's delivering this dark message through a catchy pop song. Therefore, I'll be all you hear for years and years and years. So it's a really clever idea, packaging up a dark idea and hiding it in super catchy pop music. And this idea is also explored later on the Noelle album. Again, I'll say the chorus, "Dancing is dangerous, gently embraces us, and won't let go till the end of our days." Won't let go, it'll stay in your head. Also, the verse to that song starts with, "First step, you forget where you are. Next step, you forget who you are. I've tried, but I can't break away as I dance to the music." So it's like a good song is permanent. It'll imprint itself on your life if it's good enough. I'm sure many of us Sparks fans feel this about the songs that I'm talking about right now. Yet there's this little dark seed that they've planted in there. It's a really clever concept. The final line of My Other Voice is, "You may be deaf to everything, you won't be deaf to me." Now, if you consider that the audience wouldn't expect a profound message in their song, they expect romance, they expect dancing, heartbreak. So you may be deaf to everything, you won't be deaf to me. It's saying that they're going to cut through to their new audience, the new audience who are out partying, who are not really interested in poring over lyric sheets. They're going to get their message through to them. You may be deaf to everything, you won't be deaf to me. It also ties forward to the line, lyrically weak, but the music's the thing. As hopefully you'll have seen from this video, nothing could be further from the truth on this song. In this video, I've discussed a sequence of 5 songs spread over 2 albums, and while they seem unconnected to each other, they make a shared point about how Sparks chose to subvert disco music. It's a concept that even extends to the title. The single is called The Number 1 Song in Heaven, but the album is slightly shorter, just Number 1 in Heaven. Notice how they've abbreviated the word number? It can be read a second way. No one in heaven, as in nobody, as in what if death really is the end? Once again, they're putting mortality and pop music right next to each other. Thanks for watching. I hope these ideas have resonated with you. If so, I'd love to hear your comments, and you can pop over to my blog where there's a lot more of this kind of thing. Hopefully there'll be a follow-up video soon if people are interested. And please like and subscribe, and catch you soon. Thanks. Bye.